Hey, this is the homework help video for Honors Math 3 Unit 4 Worksheet 2. So I am going to start with question number 6. So for question number 6, we want to subtract these two fractions. So in order to do that, I want to make sure the denominators are factored fully. So here I want to factor out a negative, right? So I'm going to take a negative out of that. So when I do, I'm going to get negative, and then this will be negative 2 positive x, or x minus 2. So then in order to combine fractions, I have to have the matching denominator. So these are almost the same. The only difference is this one is negative, that one's not. So what I'm going to do here is just multiply these two negatives together, subtract the negative, so that will turn positive. And so as soon as I do that, they have the same denominator. So now, because they have common denominator, I'm just going to add my top together. So I have 1x plus 1x, and then plus 1, that has nothing to combine with it, over the same denominator, which is x minus 2. And then I can't factor anything out of the top or the bottom, and so I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay. And then let's take a look at question number 15. So for question number 15, I want to factor my denominators. So here I want to multiply to 5 and add to 4. So I know I'm going to use 5 and 1. And I want the 5 positive and the 1 negative. And then from here I want to add, and I'm going to make that negative 4 here. And then I want to factor that, so I can do let's see, 5 and 2. So that gives me 5x minus 2x, which is 3x, and then 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, so that will work there. So for my common denominators, I know that I need to, they both already have the x plus 5, so I don't need to do anything with that. But then this has an x minus 1, so I'm going to multiply this side by x minus 1. And then now this one has an x minus 2 and this one does not, so I want to multiply top and bottom by x minus 2. So then when I do that, I have a common denominator, so let me write that out. And then this can be in any order, right? So I just have that. So then I'm going to go ahead and distribute my numerator. And then distribute my numerator. Again, so we want to distribute the numerator so we can combine like terms, but we don't want to distribute the denominator, right? So leave the denominator alone, distribute the numerator. And then when I combine like terms, I have 2x and negative 4x. And then negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And then nothing reduces, so that would be my answer for number 15. Okay? And then let's look at number 21. Let's zoom in a little bit on that one. Pretty small. So my common denominator for that one is going to be x squared. So I'm looking at the x and the x squared. So that means I'm going to multiply the top by x squared. Okay, so again, I have x and x squared to look at. And then so my common denominator is going to be the higher power. So that would be just x squared. So then when I multiply the top, I'm going to distribute by x squared. So then I have 1 times x squared. And then I'm going to multiply these two together. And when I do that, the x squared terms are going to cancel. So that cancels with that, leaving just the negative 9. And then down here, 2 times x squared. And then here, I'm going to get 6x squared over x. So one of the x's will cancel, so I'll be left with just 6x. So again, just one more time here. So I'm going to have 6 over x, and I'm going to multiply that by just x squared. So this will cancel one of those, leaving 6x divided by 1, or 6x. Okay, and then now I want to factor. So for the top, I can factor that to x plus 3, and then x minus 3. And then here I can factor out a 2x. And then the x minus 3's reduce, and I'm left with x plus 3 over 2x. Okay. And then let's take a look at the back side. So for question number 22, it looks a lot more complicated than it really is. So what they're asking for is, what would you get when you got your lowest common denominator here? So if I want to add these together, my common denominator, I would need an x plus 1, and then between x and x cubed, I would use the x cubed, right? Because I can divide x cubed by itself and also by x, but not the other way around. So with that, then what would I multiply 5 by to get x plus 1 and x cubed? I would multiply top and bottom by x cubed. So then that means, what am I multiplying the 5 by? I'm multiplying by x cubed. Okay, so that's what you're doing here, right? What do I have to multiply the 5 by to get this common denominator? And then on this fraction, I have the x already, but not the x plus 1. So I would have to multiply 3 by x plus 1, and then also by x squared to make that x cubed. And I would do that to the top and the bottom. Okay. So what did I multiply the 3 by? So I would have a common denominator by the x squared and the x plus 1. And then for the 4, so I already have the x cubed in the denominator, but I need the x plus 1. So I would multiply the top by x plus 1 and the bottom. So what did I multiply the 4 by? By x plus 1. And then all over my common denominator of x plus 1 and x cubed. Okay, and that's it for that homework help video.